Hello, guys. So, good evening once again, and welcome um, to this post-CAC application webinar. Like I said earlier, we understand that a lot of applicants have been having challenges after applying for the scholarship, which ended on the 13th of December. But the thing is that managing the post-application stage of your Commonwealth shared scholarship is very, very important because having submitted your application, there are requirements that you would need to meet. There are things that you probably would need to do, considering the fact that it is universities that do the selection for the scholarship. So after universities have selected is when they put on, they're probably going to send in the names of all the selected applicants, both nominees and reserved candidates to the Commonwealth Scholarships Commission, which would do the eligibility check, inform applicants and request for references before final confirmation of award is made. And I've come to understand that majority of people are already having issues privately. Some people have reached out to me considering the university application process, because the scholarship itself is to fund your offer of admission in that university. So if you do not have an offer from the university, if the university rejects your application for admission, you're probably not going to be selected for the scholarship. So managing this process is very, very important, and also meeting up with the requirement of the university. Some university could have requirements like maybe English language proficiency. Some universities should have requirements for you to pay a deposit accepting your offer. Some universities could actually require you to provide a particular document, because universities have the independent right and to decide their own criteria for assessing applicants, both for the admission and for scholarship beyond the CAC requirements. So like 3 days ago, I had a situation where a particular scholar reached out to me, and the university sent her an email like 2 days, and she didn't check her email. But she saw the fact that she saw the email from the university and told me that she was very worried about it. And when I checked the email, it was actually nothing that she could be worried at. Okay, so she submitted our original certificates. So what actually happened was that she took the certificate to a business center, cyber cafe, where it was scanned. But you understand that when universities issue certificates, there are security features embedded in every certificate. But after the certificate was scanned, perhaps what was done at the cyber cafe, those security features were removed, and the result, actually, the certificate looks like something that was not original. So the university was actually in doubt if the certificate was original or it wasn't. So they reached out to her and asked her to provide a photocopy, like a pictorial format of the certificate, which she was really finding very difficult because she wasn't even home during that period. She traveled, actually. I have to tell her to tell somebody to to snap it and send to them, because they requested a photo version of it, not even PDF, because they want to compare and see if the certificate was actually original. Now, they were not doubting the fact that the certificate was either fake or it wasn't fake, but what they needed to do was the fact that they wanted to be sure that it was the same certificate. So, and then there could be also issues like okay, university have made an offer and there is a condition that you will need to meet before getting an unconditional offer, except when it is tuition fee for a Commonwealth scholar. And one thing I would like to mention is the fact that for Commonwealth scholars, you are not expected to pay deposit for your offer. So managing this process is very, very important. And so that is why we are putting up this session, to interact with you, to know your challenges and how we could address them, and also advise in our little ways on how you could manage this process efficiently, and what you would need to do moving forward from this process. Because having applied for the scholarship, universities will definitely make their selection from now till March to put in their list of selected candidates to the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission for eligibility check and confirmation of award. So there's a whole lot you need to do, so you could start preparing for it. We've had situations where people lost out of getting the scholarship awarded because they didn't check their emails, they didn't know when CSA sent reference requests, and by the time they got to be aware of it, deadline for submission has passed, and a whole lot of things. And then there are also cases of where you would face difficulties in terms of your referees submitting reference reports for you, which is a very vital component of the selection process. So that is why we've thought it wise to put up this session. Like you guys remember, after the November 6th webinar that we actually organized, we moved over 60 persons to our mentorship group, where we've been providing the little support that we can give. And I want to commend all our mentors, Rina, Scholar Wale, Goshen, Bushi, everyone, Basiru. I mean, these guys have been great. Despite how busy their schedule was during that period, they were able to support. And I also want to congratulate you all once again for successfully applying for the Commonwealth shared scholarship during that period. Majority of you made multiple applications, and you also did not make our work difficult for us in terms of providing the support that we needed to give you at that point in time. So I congratulate you once again. Once again, I want to welcome each and every one of us to tonight's session. And once again, extend my sincere appreciation to Winans for coming despite his very busy schedule. So I would like to just open the floor for tonight, first and foremost, to entertain your questions. And for those persons who actually have questions, we want to make this session as interactive as possible. So we get to hear from you, the progresses you're making, and if there are challenges that you have, you probably would like us to advise you. You get to do that. After that, we just have a brief conversation with you and tell you what you will need to do moving forward from here. And then we could now end this session. So once again, you are welcome to tonight's session. So I would like to entertain your questions before we would have anything to say. I believe that winners have a lot of advice to give you tonight, but we would like to hear from you and then respond to your challenges. Thank you. So if you have a question, just raise your hand. I'll permit you to speak. So you could actually use the chat box. Yes, you can type your question. Yeah, you can type your question and we'll respond to it. But if you want to ask, you could also ask your question. If you want to make use of the audio, you could actually make use of the audio to ask your question. So the floor is open. First, we're entertaining your questions. Okay, Maureen, you can actually ask a question. Go ahead, please. Maureen, you can speak. So for others, if you have a question, please, you could be indicating while Maureen is making his or her comments. So Maureen, please go ahead. Maureen, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I don't think you can. hear me from my own end?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just be audible a little bit.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So, good evening, God's time. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to be able to come again in this platform to discuss our various challenges post-application. So, one of the questions that I have at the moment is, I used my, when I was applying for the University of Strathclyde, which I also applied a similar course for Chevening. I used when they asked for school application ID, I used the same ID for this same application. So I hope it suffices because I was like, it's the same course, it's the same school. So is it like I should have applied for it all over again in the same university? But I just used the same code, school code for the both, which I use for Chevening for this. So I hope it will work or it will go.
Okay, let me just allow Winners to respond to that question. Winners, are you here?
Yes, I am. Okay. I didn't quite get the question, but I think she's asking, she applied to a particular school, that's for a particular program in a particular school. And she also applied for Chevening and then Commonwealth shared, right?
Yes. Same course, same university.
Is there a problem? Yeah, is there a problem? It doesn't really matter, right? Yeah, so you'll be considered for both scholarships, depending on
okay,
the one you meet up with the requirements most. Yeah, so is there a problem? Yeah.
Yeah,
thank you.
Just to add to what Winners have said, the ID you're talking about is your university student ID, which they've generated for you. So using it for both your Commonwealth application and for your CSC application does not really have any effect on your application.
Right.
So
thank you.
And even if you get into the university, that is the ID they will definitely give to you. Even if you reapply for the program, they may likely give you that ID. So that's the kind of your unique ID they've generated for you. So your university knows you by that ID. With that ID, they can check their database. Like that is like very unique to you. So from now till probably either you getting into the program or not, if you want to communicate with the university, mentioning that ID alone, give them all the information that they will need. So you don't really have any issues with that.
All right. Thank you very much. That's all for now. Thank you.
Okay, so okay, someone actually asked a question. So he's asking if are we expected to send our offer letters to CAC at this stage, or it doesn't, or is not needed? Just to quickly respond to that question, you don't need to send any offer letter to CAC. So basically what happens is that after you've submitted your Commonwealth Shared Scholarship application, CSC usually send the application to the university. The university usually have a dedicated team to review each scholarship application. Okay, usually people, sometimes there could be multiple applications for just very limited slots, but university usually have a scholarship team that do review. So what they need is that one of the conditions is that as of the time universities are deciding whether you should be selected for the scholarship or not, you would need to have an unconditional offer of admission. Okay, so in this case, what the university scholarship team needs to do is that with your university ID, which that ID that we're talking about, they could actually verify if you have an unconditional offer or not. And if there is any condition in your offer, mostly if it has to do with payment of deposits or financial conditions, as soon as you are awarded the scholarship, that condition is not going to matter. So when it is financial condition that is required, you don't really have any issue with that. So you don't need to send CSC any documents, because the universities that recommend you to CSC for the confirmation of your award and eligibility check. So usually you don't need to send CSC any documents. What you probably need to do at this stage, like what I did during my time when I applied for the scholarship, my university did not generate the student ID for me immediately. So it was when I was made an offer. So I submitted my CSC application without university ID. So when I was made an offer, I have to get the student's ID number, and I emailed it to the university scholarship team, and they acknowledged it. So that helps them in terms of tracking your application for admission. And it was the condition for my university was payment of deposit, which I actually they have to do at that moment. And secondly, I would like to mention, like I mentioned earlier, as a Commonwealth applicant, you do not have to pay for deposits. And I've handled like few cases within the past week where some scholars mentioned the fact that they've been made an offer, and the condition is for them to pay a deposit. So in such cases, what you need to do is to write the university scholarship team, telling them that you've applied for the admission as a Commonwealth shared, you're a Commonwealth shared applicant, and that in your admission application, you either indicated, whether you indicated or whether you indicated or you did not indicate it, as a Commonwealth shared scholarship applicant, you don't need to pay a deposit. So write the university scholarship team to tell them about the situation, okay? And tell them that you've been made an offer, but the condition of the offer is for you to pay a deposit. And you understand that as a Commonwealth applicant or a Commonwealth scholar, you're not supposed to pay a deposit. So tell the university admission team to be able to communicate with the university scholarship team to communicate with the admission team, so that offer can be waived for you. However, you could also directly write the admissions team telling them that you've applied for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. Okay, and that you are not expected to pay a deposit, but you are still expected to have an unconditional offer before the time of scholarship decision. So you would like that condition to be waived for you, and they will definitely do it for you. So probably maybe you, while writing to university admission team, you could actually copy the university scholarship team as well, or you could write to them for them to be able to follow it up for you. And most importantly, while you are writing the university admission team or scholarship team regarding either your scholarship or admission status, always ensure that you include both your university student ID that has been generated for you and your scholarship CSC ID as well. This helps them to track your application process as well. So someone is asking the question, University of Nottingham gave me an unconditional offer 2 days ago. During the application process, there was no reference to CAC in the application portal. At this stage, what steps do I need to take further? I also saw something like a deposit requirement in the offer letter. How should I respond to this? I think I've responded to this, but Winners, can you advise on this?
All right. I guess Goshen, either you or Goshen responded to that in the group. So some schools, not just University of Nottingham, some schools don't actually have the CSC tab on the application portal, like asking you if you're applying for or if you're applying to CSC. Some schools don't have that option. I can remember applying to some schools, I think Leicester, I can't remember, but I applied to up to 5 schools. So I know that some of those schools didn't actually give make provision of that tab or that option. Okay, are you applying for any external funding or school funding? Some of them don't actually give you that window. But that aside, since you've already applied to CSC, most of you provided your CSC ID. Why some didn't? Because they couldn't get CSC. I think somebody from University of Bath couldn't get the university ID, like the university ID number or so. So, but all your applications, since all your applications are being sent to your schools, to your respective schools, right? Why your school will definitely receive your CS application package, and they will review all the ACs, all the applications. So while reviewing, just like Gostam said, with your CSC ID, they'll be able to track your university application and then know if you already have an offer. And if you have an offer and then you meet the requirements of CSC and that of the university, automatically they will consider you for the scholarship. So there's nothing to worry about with respect to that. Then the next question, the second question has to do with getting an unconditional offer and then being required to pay a deposit, right?
Yeah, but since the condition is there is no now the thing is that he said the offer is actually unconditional.
Yes.
Okay, which means that the person doesn't need to pay a deposit for the offer to be unconditional again, because there are some universities that for you to get an unconditional offer, you must pay a deposit. In this case, this offer is unconditional. So what the person needs to do is to pay deposits perhaps at a particular period of time, because some universities, like, you need to pay that amount for them to send you cars. But since you are not self-funding, you don't need to pay any deposits. What the person probably will need to do is to maybe write to the university admission team telling them that you've applied for the scholarship and that scholarship decisions probably going to be made within March to July, right? Within March to July, because there are some people that get to be awarded the scholarship just August, by the time others have rejected, and then some others who would even be lucky to get it early September and probably arrive very late. So I think in this case now, I think the person needs to write the admission team and tell them that he or she has applied for Commonwealth Share Scholarship, but until decision for the scholarship has been made, you can't actually pay, because for you to pay for a deposit as a Commonwealth scholar, I mean, you're not permitted to pay for deposits, and this could actually put you in trouble, because paying for deposits means that you have money to fund yourself. That is what it means. So do we have further questions, please? So if you have a question, you could either use the chat box or you can just indicate by raising your hand and we'll allow you to speak. So winners, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so there is a question. Say, when awarded the scholarship, how is the visa process?
Have you gotten to the visa stage? So, if you're being awarded the scholarship, I guess, like, definitely they have to provide you with every information that you need. CSC will always reach out to you with all that is required, and they would guide you throughout the course of the visa processes till you arrive here in the UK. Even when you arrive here, they will still be guiding you and then reaching out to you. So once you are awarded the scholarship, right, with your scholarship award letter, you mail it, you mail the scholarship award letter to your school, the finance department. So when you mail it to the school, automatically they waive the tuition fee for you. So in some cases, I think you may not even mail them, but CSC on their own will kind of contact the school, informing them that they've paid your tuition fee in full. But in some cases, depending on the school, they may not have received the notice. So you on your own part, you mail your award letter to your school's finance department. So with that, they waive the tuition fee and then send you your CAS. You can't apply for visa without confirmation of acceptance of studies. That's the CAS. So some schools might require you to do extra work. Yeah, your tuition fee has been paid in full, but you might be required to do the genuine intent, fill the genuine intent form, or be invited for an online interview. Yeah, some schools call it credibility interview. So with that, if you pass the credibility interview or your genuine intent form was kind of okay, kind of satisfactory, and then with your award letter, which shows that your tuition fee has been paid, your school will not issue out the CAS. So with the CAS, there's nothing much to do. You log into the UKVI website and then start your visa processes. And since we're already in a group, there is kind of a forum for each and every one of us, because it was quite helpful. By the time we got our nomination mails and some persons that we are placed on reserve, and we are all in that group chat. So we were kind of assisting each other. Like I had difficulty filling my visa form. So I got help from few other persons that have already done this stuff. So it's not a difficult thing. If you can actually do it on your own, you can. But if you can't, there are other scholars that will help you. I think Goshen was quite helpful when I was filling my visa thing, because there were a few questions I found difficult. I didn't know the exact answer to kind of input. So Goshen came through for me because he applied for his visa first before I did. So you can always get help. So it's not a difficult thing. During that visa process, you upload your CAS and then other documents, right? So the health insurance and then the visa application fee, there is a tab for you to select if you are a student on scholarship, right? So if you're a student on scholarship, you select the exact scholarship. In this case, Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. The fees will be waived automatically for you, and then a date scheduled for your biometrics. Of course, you need a tuberculosis test, a tuberculosis certificate to prove that, oh, you don't have tuberculosis for the application, right? So once that is done, you go for your biometrics, and after 3 weeks, I think 21 working days or so, or 15 working days, I can't remember, your visa will be issued. And once you get your visa, you also mail CSC that you've gotten your visa. They will now book your flight, and it's just an easy step. But this is just that you always get guideline at every stage.
All right, thank you very much, Wina. So just for me to contribute to what you have said, as a Commonwealth shared scholar, or perhaps as a Commonwealth scholar, CSE is really, really helpful at every stage of your application, either before your application or before your visa application or after your visa application. So what happens is that when you are selected for the scholarship, after references have been submitted, the university will contact you if you are a nominee, and provide you with some information from CSC. So CSC usually have a lot of information that you would need to work with. Beyond that is the fact that CSC also provide a step-by-step guide to apply for your visa. So it's like every step from A to Z, applying for your visa and also national health insurance as well. So you're probably not going to have issues applying for your visa. So just like what winners have said, once you are being nominated and your award is confirmed, you need to get a CAS. You need to get a CAS from the university. So in some cases, the university will require you to apply for your CAS, I think via the CAS Shield or so. And for other universities, like my university, it was difficult for me to apply for the CAS. So what I needed to do was to email them. And this process took a lot of time. Like it took a lot of time. Like I needed to write emails. I kept writing and writing and writing. And sometimes I will write the people that I was communicating with, and they were on break. They were already on vacation. They couldn't respond. They have to refer me to other people. But then my university team was really very helpful. Because as a scholarship student, you need to understand that your tuition fee is paid by the CSC and not the university. So in most cases, the university needs to confirm that you've been provided the funding. So in some cases, you have to write the university scholarship team. Now, once you have been made a scholarship, the scholarship has been confirmed for you. The best person you can communicate with is usually the university contact person. And in most cases, this person is usually the person that do inform you about your award status. So they send you confirmation of award, acceptance of award email. So from there, you could start communicating with the person. If you have any challenge, you just email the person, and the person probably is going to help you in terms of internally communicating. So for you to apply for your visa, like what winners have said, you need to get your CAS, okay? So that CAS, once you have your CAS, you can now apply for your visa. But I hope that by the times awards have been made, we should be able to host another session to help. I don't know, because that will be a very busy time for us, and I can't really assure you if we would host a session. However, from the mentorship group and other WhatsApp group that will be available, you would be able to get help in terms of applying. But just to add to what you have said, you have a step-by-step guide provided by the CSA to help you successfully apply for your visa. And as a Commonwealth scholar, for Marshall scholars, Chevening and Commonwealth scholars, like winners have said, the visa application fee is usually waived, but you will need to do the tuberculosis test, which is from your own money. You probably will need to pay for that test, but when you arrive, a university will reimburse you for that. So I think at this point in time, you don't need to disturb yourself about the visa application process. Actually, you don't need to really worry about it. Definitely, once you have been made, once the scholarship has been confirmed, you won't really have issues in terms of applying. But there are some universities that I've had situations where some universities conducted is a pre-CAS interview, just like what winners have said, just like a credibility interview that they need to. And I think winners, there was someone that complained about failing the pre-CAS interview, and he or she wasn't issued a CAS. I really don't know what actually happened after that time, because
I think he later got the CAS. I don't think it was a case of failing the credibility interview.
okay.
So I think it was because his award letter didn't come on time. So he couldn't show proof of tuition fee payment. You know, the award letter covers that. But
Yeah.
since award letter didn't come on time, so they thought that he has not paid his school fees and all that. So immediately he got his school fee, he got the award letter showing that his tuition fee has been paid. He was able to mail them, and then they responded and scheduled another interview for him. And he's here in the UK with us. Yeah.
Wow, that is great. I'm happy to hear that.
Hmm.
So that is fine. So there's a whole lot of information about this visa process. The visa process itself is a different stage of your application process and getting to the UK. And I don't think that we should dwell so much on it now because it has no effect. The most important thing is for you to be awarded the scholarship. So I think let's skip the visa process for now, but then there are really no issues with you applying for visa as a Commonwealth scholar. You really have no issues applying for visa, except these are personal issues, like you have a criminal record. These are personal stuff like, but CSE provides you with every information that you need to apply successfully. During that process, you could also get support from your university as well. University could also provide you some guidance on applying for your visa as well. So Sarah asked a question. Say, I was awarded a conditional offer from the University of Stirling before applying for CSE. So will I need to fulfill all the conditions before being offered the scholarship? I don't really know the conditions, but I don't, if it's possible, you could just mention the conditions that are attached to your offer. But like I mentioned earlier, if the condition for your offer is payment of deposit, you should email the university admissions team and copy the scholarship team of the university for them to be able to waive that condition for you until after scholarship decisions have been made. So the condition of the English language condition, I really don't know what the condition is all about, because different universities could have different English language condition. Particularly, I don't know. Sarah, are you from Nigeria? Okay, what country are you from, please? Okay, you're from Cameroon. Yeah. So Cameroon is a Francophone country. There are cases where universities do waive English language condition for applicants from Anglophone countries. And in this case, these particular students, in most of these countries, their educational system is conducted in the English language. So usually universities do waive it for candidates who have schooled in countries where English is the official language of instruction. Okay, so, but that still depends whether your university, the university you did your undergraduate studies, was it done in English language or it was done in French? I don't know. I don't know the language of English, right? So in this case, you should read through the university admissions guideline very well to know if they do waive English language requirement for students who have done either a 3 to 4 years or 5 years bachelor degree program. Yeah, I know you're from Anglophone Cameroon, yeah. So there are cases like that. So what you need to do is that, okay, what I will help you to do is that you should send me a message on WhatsApp, okay? Let me check the university website to know the conditions actually, and I will be able to advise. So in some cases, universities do waive language requirement for applicants who have done their undergraduate studies purely in English language. Okay, so in that case, they could waive it for you. So if you did your undergraduate studies in English language and that condition is provided, what you need to do is to write the university admission team telling them that your graduate studies was conducted in English language. In some cases, you could also get a letter of attestation of language of study from the university registry. In most universities in Nigeria, the registry usually issue that letter to students, confirming that their language of communication, of instruction actually was done in English language. So you could submit that letter to university admission team, and in most cases that should wait for you. However, there are still other universities that will require you to either write IELTS or TOEFL. In this case, some may not actually waive it for you, you would have to write. But all the same, send me the university, the department, the course website. Let me check through it to know the option that have been provided, and I will be able to advise from there. I hope I'm able to answer your question. All right, that is fine. So do we have other questions? You're welcome. Do you have other questions, please? Hello, guys. If you have questions, please ask. You could just indicate, just raise your hand and we'll allow you to speak. Or you could just use the chat box to drop your question. Do we have any question, please? Okay, so winners, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so while we are waiting for people to ask questions, maybe we could start advising them on this stage of the application process. Okay, so if you have any advice, you could start giving to them the things that they would need to do, preparing for the next stage and what they should be doing at this point in time. So we could just be sharing on that aspect while we're expecting them to ask more questions.
Okay, this will be my candid advice, right? While waiting, there are so many things you can do. If you're already a graduate and you are working, or you are not working, you can actually keep yourself busy with work. Then in addition to that, I'm a lover of personal development, right? You can actually take some online courses. Yeah, you can take some online courses. You can try and learn a skill. You can read that book you've been postponing to read, and then you can do a whole lot of things. Then I think it's wise you also look out for other opportunities, let's say other scholarships, because yeah, in as much as I think Commonwealth is one of the most competitive scholarships out there. So in as much as you applied to the program and everybody wants to win, not everyone will definitely get in, right? So you might also want to explore other opportunities. I think in our set, some persons won Erasmus, yeah, Erasmus scholarship. Someone won Chevney. I think Myra also won Chevney. Then some persons won other scholarships. So I think one or two persons that didn't get the Commonwealth shared scholarship also got another scholarship. I think university-based scholarship. There is this Nestan, I think Felix Nestan or so, yeah, scholarship. Then the likes of Nottingham have institution scholarships like the developing solutions scholarships and all that. I would have applied to that scholarship, but because my nomination mail came in early, very early. I was part of the people that received their nomination mails in March. Yeah, I think, yeah, second week of March.
That was really
So
early.
I had to stop other applications because Commonwealth Share Scholarship was one of the scholarships I really wanted. So when it came, I relaxed a bit. But what I did was to focus on personal development. Yeah, I had to take some online courses with respect to this my master's program, and they really helped. As at the time I resumed, I already have a grasp of what will be taught and how the program would go. Then other things. Then I think while waiting, that was when I recorded. I was able to publish a whole lot of research article. Yeah, while waiting. Yeah, because so many things. I just focused on personal development, attended conferences, lots of conferences, and then community outreach too. I was privileged to win an impact fund from one organization to carry out a project. So I reached out to secondary school students in Imo State. So I was involved in community service too. There are a whole lot of things to do. Seriously, there are a whole lot of things to do. So it's just that for you, but you don't have to be idle. I've mentioned a whole lot of things. And I think I was also interested in data analytics, but because I prefer physical training. So in my area, I was scouting up for opportunities and other, but I didn't get someone to teach me that. People I saw were people interested in doing web development and other, but I needed that data analysis so much, but I couldn't get anyone. So there are so many things. This is a period for you to check out other opportunities, learn a skill. Yeah, not just soft skills, even hard skills. I was having a conversation with you the other time about how much it costs to barb hair here. So you can as well learn skills like that, maybe fashion or hard skills, soft skills, and then other things. Yeah, so there are a whole lot to do.
Yeah, that is really nice. And I'm honestly happy to hear from you. And I believe that our scholars would definitely learn something from all you've said. So just to add to what winners have said, as much as this process is very, very critical, there is something that is very important about the application process moving forward. Beyond meeting the conditions of your offer from the university, here is the golden advice I would give to you. Always check your email. Always check your email. And I will say it for the third time, always make sure that you check your emails. Check your emails in the morning, check your emails in the afternoon, check your emails in the evening, check your emails midnight. Okay, always make sure that you check your emails. And while checking your emails, do not just check your inbox, check your spam folders, check your promotion, check everywhere that an incoming mail could be trapped in. Okay, so check your emails very well, because university could send you an email, and then you are not used to checking emails, and probably they expect you to respond within a particular time frame. And if you miss that time frame that deadline to respond to that email, you could lose out. Okay, both in your scholarship and admission process as well. So you don't want to make things like more difficult for yourself. So check your emails always. And I think at this point in time, if you are not the type that do check your emails regularly, it means that you are not even serious to be a scholar. Not to brag about this, but I do check my email up to 30 to 40 times a day minimum. Like I check my emails, like today is Sunday, right? Even on Sundays, I check my emails close to like 30 to 40 times. Like, and I have up to like 4 emails that I'm using. Like I have different emails that I use. My university email my personal emails, I have 3 personal emails, and I use these for different purposes. So there's one of my emails. That one is my, if you have that email, it means that we are kind of very, very close. Like that closeness is like, because that is what I use for most official conversation, official conversation and stuff. So I use that email, and that is my primary email, and then my university email. And I still have other emails, maybe for business or for random things. Like if you noticed, during the application process, there was an email I gave out where you send your essays for review. Yes, I have different emails for different purposes. So that helped me to kind of prioritize my email conversations and possibly the priority email that I do receive. So if I see an email in that personal email, that my official email, I take it really very serious. So I do check all my emails. Like I check everywhere in my emails, like every day and night, I do check my emails. So please, I would advise you to check your emails, okay, like very well, as many times as possible that you can. Please do well to check your emails. And okay, someone said very important because I lost a scholarship last year because I didn't see. Sorry, I'm coming. Emails are coming in. So very important because I lost a scholarship last year because I didn't see my interview mails in few days. Now you could imagine this could have been a life transforming opportunity, but she lost out because she didn't check her emails. And I'm really sorry about this, Maureen. Like I'm so sorry to hear this. Honestly, like this is really sad. Winners, you recall, there were some people who came on this Commonwealth scholarship phase. There was a scholarship Facebook group, not for scholars, but for applicants. And we're complaining that, okay, they didn't receive requests for reference email. It was after the deadline. Now, for some people, after the deadline, Commonwealth still sent an email telling them to tell their referees to send reference requests, but they didn't actually check their email. Some people travel, maybe they went to where there is no network, or perhaps they did not check their emails. So many things could account for this. So always make sure that you check your emails. And these persons actually lost out of getting the scholarship. The only condition that could be possible is when nobody has accepted that offer. Because if there are people that are either reserved and you've not submitted references, they still reach out to you, you have not submitted, they could decide to award the scholarship to someone else that is on the reserved list. So make sure that you check your email. And another important advice I would want to give is the fact that, you see, you have nominated referees to be you've nominated people, either your boss at work or your lecturers back in the university. You've nominated referees, okay, to provide references for you. And references are also very critical components of your selection process. It is advisable that you keep, very good communication and relationship with these people. Don't be that kind of person that always want to talk to people when you have problem that you want them to solve for you, or when you want them to do something for you, you reach out to them. I would advise that you keep a good relationship with your referees. Have this like frequent communication with them, okay? Be in touch with them. Always be in touch with them. And once in a while, remind them of the fact that you use them as referees for the scholarship. And if you know that you've submitted a very, very competitive application that will turn out very good for you, you could actually inform them that, okay, inform them that you've applied for the scholarship, that when you apply for the scholarship, you use them as referees, that at any point in time, references could be requested and they may be required to submit a reference for you. So always keep them informed about the process, because mostly for those of us who have referees that are not really kind of active online, this could be a very serious issue for you. There are some people that may not be available to provide references for you when CSE will request for it. And now the CSE reference process itself is just 3 weeks. So you have just 3 weeks to submit references. So it's always important that your referees are able to submit references for you on time. So make sure that you inform them about it. So when CSE requests references for your applications, usually if you submitted multiple applications and you are selected for more than one program that you applied for, you would receive reference requests for all of them. If you are selected for 2 programs, for 3 programs, you would receive individual reference requests for all of them. So what you will need to do at that point in time, CSE usually provides a guideline. CSE provides a guideline for you to submit your references. So if you have been nominated for more than one scholarship of more than one university, the process of submitting references is that each referee must submit only one reference letter for all your nominations, either 1, 2, 3, just one reference report that will be submitted for you. So in that case, your full name, the university, your CSE ID and program for all the universities would be listed in just one reference letter. And they will send this reference letter to the dedicated email address that CSE would provide. And in this case, while sending the reference, they could also write a cover for you. But these details are very, very important. So always make sure that you inform your referees how this reference letter should be written for you. Okay, and you can only accept one nomination. So if you are nominated for more than one program, make sure that you have evaluated all the options before making your decision. If you have accepted one program, you cannot accept more than one program. So let's assume that you were contacted for 3 universities that selected you, and you now submit acceptance for all of them. CSE is going to select only the first university that you accepted, that send because your acceptance form is sent directly to your program officer at the CSE. So when you are accepting your offer, always make sure that you accept the one that you are most comfortable with, the one that you want the most. Accept only that one and reject others. So other scholars who are on the reserve list can also be upgraded. So it is important. Let's assume that you have 3 nominations and you go ahead to accept all of them. Maybe University A is what you wanted. So maybe you submitted the first acceptance form for University B or C. For University B and C, you're probably going to get rejected. You probably would get just one confirmation of award. So usually they will award you the scholarship for the first university and program that you accepted, you sent the acceptance form for. So this is very important, and I would like us to take note of it while you are making your preparations. So just like what winners have said, keep yourself very busy, keep in touch with other scholars and other applicants, and prepare for it. So someone is asking a question. Good afternoon. Thank you for your time. What do you advise in a case where the referee email submitted during the application is not accessible to the referee at the time of reference request? Can the said referee use their secondary or ultimate email address? Okay, winners, you could respond to this. Winners, are you here?
I am, yes, I am. Yeah. So it's quite a tricky question. To be honest, I don't have an answer to that question, but this is it, because upon application or during the application process, you are asked to list 3 referees, right? And then their email addresses. Now, a situation whereby an email address, like the email address used in sending one of your reference letters wasn't listed on this thing. But I honestly think that you can always mail them. But this is it. Even if one person doesn't send an email, doesn't send a reference request, you just have a minimum of 2 reference letters to be considered. So even if one person doesn't send in, I don't know if you understand, the other 2 you can actually use the other 2 to make a case. So this thing is just minimum of 2. I think they considered such circumstance, right? So before they came up with the minimum of 2 references. If not, they might have adhered to it must be 3. But if you just have 2 reference reports, you can still be considered for the scholarship. But to me, I think, but if that's so important, like you must send in the 3rd reference letter, I think you can just mail this thing, because one thing I love about the CSC scholarship is, or CS, Commonwealth Scholarship Commission, is they are always prompt in replying emails, and always have answers to every situation. So a situation whereby your referee cannot send your reference request or your reference letter using the same email you used while applying for that scholarship, I think you can mail them for a change. Perhaps they would consider that. But if that doesn't put you, the other 2 reference letters, you can actually use them to make a case for yourself.
Okay, thank you, Rina. So just for me to add to what you have said, I think in cases like this, usually in the CSC website, when they are sending that reference request, they make provisions for stuff like, okay, if an alternative email address is being used, okay, the referee should explain why the original email address that was submitted is not used to send the reference at that point in time. So if there is any issue at all, what you need to do is that the first thing is that, like I always advise people to contact the CAC. So let's assume that one of your referees is having issues with sending his reference report for you on the condition that the email is unaccessible. Okay, you could just write the CAC. I wouldn't want to give an advice like, okay, they should use an alternative email. Yes, CAC actually provided an opportunity for the reference to be sent across with an alternative email by providing satisfactory explanation why that email address is being used. However, you could email the CAC for advice before going ahead to submit with that email address. CAC is usually flexible and they provide a very good support system for their scholars. So if you have any issue, the best thing you need to do is to contact them. They have different emails dedicated for different purposes. So you are not sending that email to the email for references. They usually there's one for inquiry. So that inquiry or support email, you could send the email to them, telling them about your situation, and they will be able to advise you on what exactly you should do. So there is a question, there's a question from Shima. Say, as a CSC or as a Commonwealth scholar, are you permitted to do a part-time job? Okay, let me just respond to this, and then Winners will also share his own perspective about it. So the first thing is that as a Commonwealth scholar, before you were awarded the scholarship, you sign an agreement that you are going to study full time. And there are also other conditions, like if you are going to work, you should make sure that you inform the university that you want to work, because CSEs provide what CSE is giving to you is enough for you to study comfortably in the UK. So if you don't have a family, here in the UK, if you don't have dependents, I mean, what CSE is providing for you is sufficient enough for you to study. And the truth is that even if you are working as a self-funded student, based on the 20 hours, because your visa actually have 20 hours work permit, you have 20 hours work permit on your student visa, so you can work 20 hours in a week. Okay, so at the immigration level, you don't have any issue to work. You can work 20 hours. But then as a Commonwealth scholar, you've signed an agreement that you're going to study full-time during this period. Yes, you can volunteer because they believe that, okay, if you are working now, because see, working and schooling is difficult. Okay, working and schooling is difficult. If I am working and schooling, I wouldn't come here to be doing this for you guys. And that's just the truth, because nobody is working and schooling and still have time to do all these things. So working is actually dependent on what exactly you want. But then you've signed an agreement that you're not going to work. So if you are working, CSE will tell you that, okay, you should inform your university that you want to work. In some cases, maybe they could suspend your stipends while you are working, because for you to work, it means that you can actually you won't take care of yourself for everything you want to do. That's why you want to work. And in that case, now you have to inform the university that you want to actually work. But there are also some jobs that you probably could do, mostly volunteering jobs where you are not paid and where your studies are not being endangered by the work you're doing. So in those cases, you could actually do those volunteering work. And sometimes if it is something that is related to your program as well, you can also do that kind of minor works related to your program within the university community, like something that does not really endanger your studies as well, because they want you to concentrate, they want you to study fully. So if you want to work, CSE will not actually come and stop you from working, but you must understand that you sign an agreement that you're not going to work, you want to study full time. So it's like you're breaching that agreement you signed with CSE. But then if you want to work to support yourself, is dependent. But the advice I will always give is that, say, CSE pays you what students who are working 20 hours, complete 20 hours can't earn. Because most of the jobs in the UK for students is usually pay around £9, 9.5, or maybe to £10. So let's assume that you are working for like 20 hours a week during the holiday. Okay, during the session time, you're permitted to work 20 hours. During holidays, you could work more than 20 hours in some cases. It all depends, but from my interactions so far, I understand that some people could actually work, mostly self-funded students. I'm referring to self-funded students who are working, they work like more than 20 hours a week, because it's during the holidays, during the break period. Okay, but then most of the jobs usually pay £9, 9.5 to like £10 maximum. So if you work for 20 complete hours, that's just £800 that you are going to make. And out of that £800, you are still going to pay tax. You would pay tax from that money. That is where probably your bills and the rest. So maybe at the end of the day, you're not going to be making too much money. But as a Commonwealth shared scholar, as a Commonwealth scholar, CSE pays you right now, they pay you a very good stipend that is far higher than what someone is working like 20 complete hours weekly for a month hence. So why should you jeopardize your academics for money? They've already provided you with all that you need. but it's an individual decision. So if you are selected for the scholarship and you get, say, you could decide what you want to do during your award. But the advice I'm giving is that CSC pays you what is enough for your stay in the UK. Okay, so during the holidays, if you want to do something, it's all left for you, whether you want to work or you don't want to work. But one thing I would like us to be conscious of is the fact that you've signed an agreement with CSC.
Two taxis, moving them all on.
Okay, please, guys, kindly mute your videos and your mics when you're not talking. So that just is, and probably I will just ask Winners to also advise and share from his own hand as well.
Okay, thank you. With respect to work, right? With respect to work, when you're awarded a scholarship, there will be terms and conditions attached to your award letter, which you have to read, and then you sign and then return back. I think that's the acceptance form you have to fill. It has the terms and conditions, so you agree to the terms and conditions, and then you send back before your award letter would be sent to you. Your final award letter will be sent to you. So I think part of the conditions is this, that in as much as your BRP might have 20 hours, I think CSC has that condition of, if you must work, you shouldn't work more than 6 hours, if I'm not mistaken. You shouldn't work more than 6 hours, yes, as a Commonwealth Shared Scholar. And it must be in the field related to your course of study. And your program officer must be aware. So it must be something you have to, like a conversation you need to have with your program officer, one, and it must be in your area of study. Let's say perhaps an internship in your field or something like that. And then you are not expected to work more than 6 hours. That's what I read in the terms and conditions I got. So I don't know if it has changed or if it is going to change. So, but what I'm trying to say is, you might get this information on their website, but if you don't see it on their website, when you are awarded the scholarship, I think every scholarship comes with terms and conditions. You should go through that and then ensure you adhere to the conditions or the agreements you've signed. Yeah.
All right, so that is fine. So everything boils down to keeping to the agreement. And one thing is that, please make sure that you read every document they send to you. Read everything, okay? Because usually those of us coming from the other side, we do not get to read terms and conditions. So there was this stuff I saw on social media yesterday where someone made a statement, was like, okay, that the only person that reads terms and conditions is the person that wrote it. Okay, so most people don't get to read the terms and conditions. We don't even finish reading it. Like, we just read few lines and we just go ahead to sign. Know what you are signing for, because there are people that just sign documents and return the document without reading the contents of the document to know what they actually sign. You don't know if you are signing off yourself. Yeah, like most people who fall victim of modern day slavery and human trafficking, they get to sign documents without reading them properly, and they find themselves in very difficult situations. So always make sure that you read the documents, the terms and conditions. And if you have signed if you've signed a document or you've accepted certain terms and conditions, it's usually good that you do not violate it, okay? Because this could have far-reaching consequences on you. So let me just tell you one of the things you should expect. Let's assume that you signed an agreement with the CAC that you're not going to work CSC is funding you, they're giving you everything that you need. And you come to the UK, you think that you are smart, you are now working, and you are making money, even if they don't talk to you. Some other time, if you want to come back to the UK, they probably, if you want to do visa renewal or anything you want to, they could actually do some background check once you've applied for visa. They want to check if you actually broke some rules, okay? And this could lead to you being denied of visa. There was this story about a particular student who was actually exceeding the 20 hours weekly work permit, and thought it maybe was smart. So while he was applying for visa renewal, it was granted, and he was actually staying in the UK. But after some time, they did some background checks and discovered that the person exceeded the 20-hour work permit, and they have to revoke his visa, and he was asked to leave the UK immediately. So please and please, we want to be good ambassadors of not just our country, the CSC, our country, and wherever we're coming from. We want to be good ambassadors. So we shouldn't be like those people who make laws and break them. We should learn to abide by certain rules that we've accepted to be the condition and to be the standard. It's always good that we usually adhere to the rules. But from the experience I have had within this period I've been in the UK, I think as a scholarship student, depending on where you are in the UK. So if you are staying in cities where you get to spend so much money, particularly for accommodation. Accommodation is what will probably like take much of your money in the UK, accommodation and transportation. Beyond that, you could actually live comfortably with what CSC is giving to you. So you can prioritize your studies very well and use that time to maybe get more skills and build capacity for other things. Because at the aftermath of your studies, you would still need to do a whole lot of things. So get skills, do great things, build capacity, develop yourself, more you have time to do. And then as a Commonwealth scholar, you also need to do a lot of things as well. CSC could host events, there could be programs you need to do, so many things you need to do. And this is why they are providing you with all the support that you need to be able to, not just your academic aspect of it, but also meeting up with certain requirements, activities that you will need to perform as a Commonwealth scholar as well. So someone asked, okay, someone said, thank you for this webinar. Please, when are we expecting the shortlist? Okay, let me just allow winners to respond to that. Winners, are you there?
Shortlist. Okay. There is no specific time. I think it depends on the school, right? But most schools will start shortlisting candidates from, I think the earliest is February. I don't know if any do shortlist by January, but I'm so sure of February, then March, and then subsequently. So with respect to that, the shortlisting, some might invite you for interviews. Like they already have list of students they want to award a scholarship to. So they might just shortlist you people for interview and then select, perhaps shortlist 10 students and then end up selecting 3 based on their quota or something like that. Because I know I was shortlisted by Brunel University and some other persons too, and we had series of interviews. So, but at the end, 3 persons were awarded. I don't know if they later increased their quota. We are awarded the scholarship, but some schools just nominate you directly. Like they don't invite you for any interview. They just go through your essays and your application parcel and then nominate you.
Oh, I think we lost winners. So just to continue from where he stopped. So usually the shortlisting process could start from February, for universities, like University of Strathclyde, I'm aware that they do conduct interview for the Commonwealth shared scholarship. So in cases where university would have to do pre-selection, you would be required to maybe attend an interview. So from February, late February, actually, university could start contacting people. But in most cases, March is when most universities that do contact their scholars to inform them of the application status, either they have been reserved or they have been nominated. So Winners is back, right? So he's still connecting. Yeah, Winners, you're back. We lost you actually.
Yeah.
You just
I'm so sorry. So as I was saying, some schools might shortlist you for interview, and then depending on the outcome of the interview, they will now either nominate you fully for the scholarship, or they place you on the reserve list, or they send a rejection mail. Why some schools will just go through your application parcel, and then from there make their final decision and nominate you for the scholarship without any interview. But all these processes, I think the earliest during our time was February, and then down to, I think, first week of September or so, because in as much as some schools nominate early or on time, some persons might eventually turn down an offer. And then cases of multiple nomination, like a situation whereby someone is nominated by multiple schools, that person will just take up one offer. Then the remaining offers from other schools will be left vacant, and then people will be like the second person or third person, depending, would not take up the vacant position in that school. So shortlisting, to me, I think starts from February, but it might be earlier than that, and then down to September. Then it could you might be shortlisted for interview depending on the school. If it's a school that still wants to get to know you before nominating you, they might shortlist you for interview first. While some schools will just make their decision based on your application alone, and then award you nominate you for the scholarship.
Yeah, so I'm coming, Sheung. You ask your question, okay? So there is this tension that usually comes with when universities start nominating. Yeah, there is usually this tension that comes with when some universities have started sending emails to their awardees or reserved candidates, and then you are not getting, and then you feel really tense. So university, just like what Winners have, so university have different processes. There are some universities that will not inform you if you have been selected for the scholarship or not. Even until you receive the request for reference email from CAC, they will not still inform you whether you've been selected as a nominee or as a reserved candidate. For some schools, you could still email them. After you've received reference requests, you could still email them and ask for like your nomination status. If you have been reserved or you've been nominated, they will not still respond to you. So at that point in time, universities usually have their own rules on how they operate, okay? So there is absolutely nothing to be worried at, okay? But do your best to keep in touch with other people mostly who have applied to different programs with you, so that you will know what is happening in that particular university and how you should place your hopes, okay? For people who have applied to multiple universities, always make sure that you've weighed the options before you make your final decision, actually. There are some universities, just like what Winners have said, they will email to hear from you if you accept, you are not accepting, before they even send you confirmation of acceptance email. So all that process usually takes time, and this happens usually towards late February to March, because March is when universities do send their list of selected candidates to the CAC for requests for references, eligibility check, and confirmation of awards. So it's a continuous process, and there are people who never got reference email on time, but it happens that maybe everyone who was nominated for the scholarship in that university maybe rejected it. So people who are lucky could even get in by like August and even early September. For people which programs are starting like October or late September. So people could be lucky. So at this point in time, one of the advices I would give to you is the fact that you should maintain a very positive mental attitude towards this process, and also be very prayerful as well. Pray for God to raise a voice for you at the table of decision, because anything can play out. Some people could reject their offers for you to get in, but be very, very positive about it, okay? Not be anxious, okay? And sometimes it could come with like mixed feelings. And I was discussing with one of my friends how she felt during the process when all these emails were coming in and she did not get it until the day she got award acceptance email from our university. So a whole lot could be playing out within this period, but all you need to do is to be very, very, very positive about it. Oluwaseun, can you ask your question?
All right, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the explanation. I think it was quite insightful. I joined a bit late, so I probably did not catch some of the things.
Oluwaseun, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, please be audible a little bit, please. Just be audible.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better actually.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your time, and I think you've done justice to a lot of things, and but I joined quite late, and I probably maybe missed out on some of those things I might be asking again. So I want to be sure how has the application to the school, like you're applying for a course in the school, and then you also have to apply on the CSC portal. How has the application on the school, what effects does that have to, does that have on your application with CSC? Because I had an email a couple of days ago requesting that I submit my official transcripts with the school I applied for. Apparently, I submitted a student copy, which is the one I could readily get from school, which I had gotten a couple of times, a far time behind now. But the official transcript is going to take a while, and it costs a lot. And I feel like it practically doesn't even make sense to go and get official transcript for a school I'm not even sure I'm going to get admission with yet. Because each time I'll get that, it costs a lot in my school. I attended, so it costs a lot each time I'll get that. So if every school is requesting an official transcript, that means I have to pay over and over to get one for each school. So I just felt like writing, and apparently I checked the requirement on the school. It's just a transcript they are requesting for, but I think there's a person maybe reviewing my application that just decided, okay, I want to see the official transcripts. So I'm hoping that I could, if sending a mail will be right, sending a mail to tell them the situation I am in, and if they could consider maybe giving an admission, then I'll submit an official transcript after then.
Yeah, okay. I think you raised this issue. You sent me a message on WhatsApp last week about it, and I think we talked about it, if I'm not mistaken. You're the one, right?
No, I am not.
Oh, you're not the one? Okay. No. I think there was a situation like this, and what actually happened to that person was the fact that the transcripts, according to them, was written not for official use. So most of us from Nigeria, we usually have two versions of transcript, like student copy transcript and official transcript. And in most cases, the official transcript is not released to students. Okay, they do university to university. For instance, if you're applying to the US and you submit your original transcripts, they are still going to tell you to tell a university to send, because they only accept transcripts from universities directly. So for US universities, they don't even have time for whether you are submitting the student copy or you're submitting an official copy. In this case, what you need to understand is the fact that that transcript that has been awarded to you is the same transcript as the original transcript, the official copy. But that's a student copy. And now the problem is that they wrote on the transcripts not for official use. So the committee, the admission committee probably could have some doubts about the originality of the transcript. So in this case, you need to write them an email. Write an email telling them that this transcript is a student copy transcript, and that you actually have access to it because you can use it to submit, to apply for admissions at the process of application. However, when you have been made an offer, mostly for US universities, you will need to have your original transcript submitted before your enrollment. So you could inform them that, because the problem is that it is written not for official use. For the person that reached out to me, this was a challenge. So in the transcript, on the transcript, they wrote not for official use.
Sorry, so just confirm that is the same thing with me. Is the same thing. So it's wrote for student copy, not for official use.
Yes.
On the transcript.
So the person is actually, because in most universities, okay, like for instance, in the UK now, they wouldn't write not for official use on your transcript, whether it's a student copy or not. It's your transcript. So, but then for people from other countries, they do write not for official use. And the reason why they write not for official use is because they want you to actually request for it. Yeah, they want to actually request for it. And when you request for it, you get to pay. So there's an aspect of universities using that to generate revenue. That's why they usually don't release transcripts to students. But some smart students also get these transcripts probably when it is submitted to an organization, or they happen to get it. But for US universities, you can't submit your official transcript by yourself. It must be submitted by the university. So in this case, you should write the university admission team telling them that this transcript is original, however, is your student copy. Tell them that at this point in time, you cannot request for your official transcript from the university because it costs a lot of money to do that, okay? And considering the fact that you have applied for the Commonwealth shared scholarship, where you are also expecting decision, because you're not going to be self-funding. So why should you spend 35,000, 40,000 to request for a transcript just for the purpose of admission that you are not even sure? Tell them that that is your student copy transcript, that considering the fact that it is expensive for you to provide that transcript, and it will take weeks for it to be done, that you would appreciate if they can accept the student copy transcript you have provided for the admission process. However, that you promise to provide the original transcripts when you have been made an offer, or at the time of enrollment, you will provide the original transcript for them. So I think that way, I believe they will be understanding enough to accept it. But it is not advisable for you to go to university and start paying 30 to 40,000 for them to send transcript because you've applied for admission. I don't think that is not really wise on your own part. But you could make a case for yourself by writing the university about it. Williams, I think you should have something to maybe advise to as well.
So there's nothing much. I think you've made important points. Just to add, I believe so much in communication, the power of communication, that's sending of mails, right? It has been so helpful to me, like in difficult situations, sending out a mail, because most of the times these people will definitely reply. Yeah. I've been in so many situations where I had to send email for clarification, for request and all that. So most of the times, I think one school self, during my time, um, during my time, found out a mistake in the transcript that I was using then. I didn't even notice that mistake, but they were able to discover it. All I did was to go back, correct the mistake, because it was an important thing, an important correction to make on that transcript. So I had to make that transcript, make that correction and then resend back, like get a new transcript and then send back to them. So most of the times it's usually best you communicate, you send a mail explaining your situation to them. But I would also say that money, even if it's 35,000, I know it might be difficult for some Nigerians, right, considering the economy, right? So but money, getting that transcript, which is very important in some cases, because if you're applying to a US school and they need that official transcript, you definitely provide that. Some might also do West evaluation and all that. So, but what I'm trying to say is there's there's this statement he made when he asked the question about he's not so sure. The issue is that you are not sure if you will be admitted. You are not also sure if eventually you'll be admitted when you provide that transcript. And it could be that that will be the school that will nominate you for this thing. These are probabilities. You are not so sure, you are not so sure. So you never can tell. So even if you have the money and you send the mail for a waiver, like for them to waive it or kind of bear with you, you don't have the money, or maybe it will take a whole lot of time, but they should continue with your application. And then you are making a promise to them that upon enrollment, you provide the official transcript and they permit you, like they grant that request, that would be nice. But if they don't grant the request and you have the money, so I think is worth investing, right? But for me, I would suggest instead of paying paying for a transcript to be sent to a particular school, you might consider paying for the transcript to be sent to West, so that you can use it subsequently, so that you don't continue to pay for transcripts, for official transcripts all the time. So you might just pay once for it to be sent to West. Then whenever your official transcript is required from you, because after masters you also do PhD and maybe postdoctoral. So whenever the transcript is requested, you now know that you won't continue to pay for your school to send. Instead, you now mail West to do the sending to as many schools that require that. I think there's that option. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fine. So in this case, I think the best thing you need to do is to email the university and first explain your situation, okay? Have this conversation with them and hear from them. I believe most UK universities are quite flexible. So for US, there are some universities that require you to do West evaluation for your transcript, whilst there are other universities that don't even accept West evaluation. But then, West evaluation usually takes time. So for West evaluation at this point, your university have to send your transcripts. They have to mail your transcripts to West. So West have to evaluate it, have both your original transcript and the evaluated copy of it in their system. And this process could take several weeks to complete. So the best thing you need to do at this point, considering the fact that this is a very critical moment, we're already in January, and this is the time university must have started reviewing applications gradually. Some universities could have started, others maybe yet to start. So the best thing you need to do is to establish communication with the university admissions team, okay, and be able to communicate properly and have a mutual understanding. Yeah, they are understanding in the fact that they know that sometimes students' financial conditions could be a bit challenging. So in cases like that, if you don't have the money to go pay for the transcript and be sent to the university, so just be able to communicate with them properly and have an agreement that you would provide the transcript when you've been made an offer, or perhaps at the point of enrollment, like what winners have advised. So I think that would be okay. So from tomorrow, you should just email the university, talk about it. So just one more thing I would like to say. I think at this point in time, you should bear in mind that you'll be doing more of writing emails. Yeah, you will need to write email. I remember when I was during my time, okay, while I was applying to my university, I sent more than 200 emails. And I have to be honest with you, like I sent more than 200 emails because I need to be sending emails to different, there was a time like when I was requesting for my cast, I was sending email to admission team, I was sending email to cast team, I was sending emails to finance departments. And then sometimes when you send emails, they will now respond and tell you to email this person. You email this person will tell you that he or she is on vacation already, you should email the next person. So you will need to be doing a lot of writings of emails. And this process could be very, very daunting. So please and please, I will encourage you, if you're not the kind of person that is used to writing emails, like officially, you should start learning how to write emails properly. And so if you have written an email, if you're not the kind of person, you're very, very good at writing emails and you want support in terms of writing your emails and you've drafted the email, you could reach out to us in the mentorship group to maybe help you to review the email that you have written before you send it. Because usually they have a lot of work to do at times like this. So if you are not really specific or you're not clear on what exactly you are saying, you may actually have a longer time of getting the issue resolved for you. So it's important that you should be writing a lot of emails. Oluwaseun, if your question has been addressed, you can actually drop your hand. So do we have more questions, please? Do we have more questions? So winners, I believe that we have addressed most of the issues. So tonight we have addressed meeting conditions of offer for both deposits payments and other conditions that you're welcome, Sheung. Other conditions that applicants need to meet at this point in time. We have provided sufficient guidance on most of the things that you will need to do moving forward, how you should keep in touch with your referees, okay, about providing references for you. And most importantly, please and please, it is your responsibility to make sure that your referees submit references for you. Don't keep quiet when you receive reference report. Don't just send them something and just wait. You have to keep pressing until they submit your references for you. Most especially if you have the kind of referees that are not active online, that will be very difficult for you. So always make sure that you keep a good relationship with your referees so that when it is time to provide references for you, they will be able to do that for you on time. Check your email every day, every time. Do check your emails. Check your emails as frequently as possible. As frequently as possible. Do well to check your emails. Is that important? So winners, can you give maybe your last advice if you have any? When you have a question, please go ahead.
All right, thank you. I would like to quickly clarify something. You mentioned referees submitting references. Would that be so? Are the referees supposed to submit the references from their end, or you get the reference from them and then upload?
No, you don't submit references as a scholar. So referees submit references for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So when CSC has selected you, when you've been selected for the scholarship eligibility check and reference, the CSC usually send an email to you for all the programs you've been selected, and they will tell you that you should inform your referees to submit reference for you. So your referees will get to write their reference reports using the details, your details like your full name, your university and program. And I think you are joining this session will be uploaded on YouTube for you to be able to watch it maybe after the session. Your full name, your university and the program, and then your CSC ID, which you will be provided, provided that ID when you've been selected, when you've been pre-selected for the scholarship actually. So you have to send those details to your referees, telling them to write a reference report. If you have been selected for more than one university or for more than one program, they will have to put all those details for the different schools and write the reference report for you. You are joining it, like I said. At that point in time, they will provide reference, like a comprehensive reference for all the programs you've been selected for to submit for you. So they just write the general reference report for you. But after you've submitted, after the reference have been submitted for you, and now you've now been selected for the scholarship, your award has now been, okay, you've been pre-selected for confirmation. You have to accept only one award. If you accept more than one award, CSC will only confirm the award that you accepted first. Okay, so maybe after the session, you could go back and listen to the recording. Once it has been uploaded on YouTube, I will inform you and send the link to you. Probably drop it on our mentorship group as well.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yes, I will share the YouTube link. I think, Maureen, were you the one that I sent my number to? Okay, my number is at the chat box, so please, okay, I think you've not been on our mentorship group all this while. Probably maybe you got this from Telegram group. So we have an exclusive mentorship group for WhatsApp. So I think you dropped a message for me on WhatsApp, right? So probably I will add you up to the mentorship group. So if you have any questions, you could always drop your questions there and we'll be able to respond to them. Okay, Sarah has actually responded to me. So Maureen, please, my WhatsApp number, can you find my WhatsApp number? Drop a message for me on WhatsApp. You said you are not on the mentorship group. Just drop a message for me on WhatsApp. I will add you up to the group. And I will share the link there as well.
Okay, I don't have access to your WhatsApp line. Would you want to drop that so that I could also reach out to you?
Oluwaseun, I thought I've been discussing one Oluwaseun. Are you not the one?
Not me, not me.
Oh, not you. I think I have one Oluwaseun that is now.
I only sent you a mail which you didn't respond to.
I didn't respond to your email. Okay,
Yeah.
were you the person that were you the person that sent your essays like a day to?
Yes, 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 I did.
I mean, yeah, so that was, I couldn't respond to you because that was like a day to deadline for the scholarship application. And I think I had deadlines for my assessment. So it was a terrible time for me. We reviewed essays for a good number of our scholars. Yeah, we reviewed essays for some scholars, and we're able to help them in terms of telling them how. And some people make corrections on their essays. I believe that it helped to get their essays better. But at the point you sent that email, I honestly couldn't respond to it because I had deadlines. I was writing my assessments, and it was really very stressful moment for me. So I just couldn't respond to it. And one of the reasons why I couldn't respond was because it was late. That was like next day. That you sent that email on the 12th, while on the 13th was deadline. There was nothing I practically could have done. And considering the fact that I was actually under pressure, working on my coursework at that point in time, I couldn't just respond. It was just overwhelming. That was why I couldn't respond. And I want to use this opportunity, use this platform to sincerely apologize for not responding to your email during that period. I'm really so sorry, okay? And I'm happy that you were able to still apply for the scholarship despite the lapses from my own end of not responding to your essay and for it getting some review from our scholars. I'm so sorry about that, but it wasn't deliberate. Your email came very late. At that point, there was nothing I could have actually done about it. I'm so sorry about it, okay?
All right, it's very fine. I totally understand your situation. And
yeah, so my WhatsApp number has been provided, so you could actually drop a message for me on WhatsApp. So in the absence of any other question, winners, I would like you to just maybe give your final advice before already coming to the end of this session. So just give your final advice, and we could just call it a night.
Okay, I think we've said everything. And to add to what you said concerning Oluwaseun, like I have to even apologize. I have to apologize. Oluwaseun, like I know I replied almost all the mails, but it was really an overwhelming period for most of us. I think I don't know how it happened. That period of the application was also when most of us had serious deadlines, like multiple assignments to submit within a specified time. So we were quite busy, right? So although on my own part, I think I was able to attend to everybody, but it was really an overwhelming period. So generally, I've talked about getting busy this period of waiting. Yeah, so when it comes to getting busy, you can actually be busy with a whole lot. Either learning a soft skill, a hard skill, personal development, perhaps reading a book, or kind of conducting a research, or going for an internship, or perhaps taking an online course, right? Then yeah, basically that. Then you can as well attend conferences or programs. Yeah. Then or you can get busy with work. Now or you volunteer. So but while waiting, if depending on your religion, if you believe in God, I think this is a very crucial period for you. Yeah, you ought to pray always. Yeah, if you believe in God, you ought to pray always, but you should also consider committing this into the hands of God, because I believe so much that when I got my nomination mail, like it was God all through. Like in the course of my life, God has always been there for me. Like he always come true for me in every situation. So because so many persons, there might people with better applications and all that, but from the pool of applicants, if you are selected, I believe so much is just God's grace. Yeah, it's purely God's grace. So if you're a believer, never forget the God factor, and then just get yourself busy with anything you can, actually. So Yeah, basically.
So thank you very much, winners, for that. Do I still have any other advice to give? Okay, what I will advise you at this point in time is that you should always keep in touch with us, reach out to us whenever you have challenges. If there's any issue, reach out to us. Always drop messages on the mentorship group. If you have difficulty, if there's any issue, and you will not clear with, feel free to reach out to us at every point in time. And this is a very important moment of your life, moving forward from now till the final selection process. Like, be very positive about it, because, I mean, Commonwealth scholarship is one of the best scholarship you could ever get in this life. And I don't know why I'm saying this, but this is from a personal experience. Like, this scholarship is just too good. And you're definitely going to be very proud of being a Commonwealth scholar, because it gives you a whole lot of, beyond the financial support that you get, like, you have a lot of benefits being a Commonwealth scholar. So take your time now to pray and also plan ahead. If you want to marry, please marry now that you've not been awarded the scholarship, so that when you are awarded, you can travel with your wife or your husband. Yeah, there's time for you to still do a lot of things, because winners is just here still looking for a wife. Meanwhile, his wife could have been here collecting spouse benefits. If you have children, you could come with your children. Your first, second to third child could come with you. So that is how important the Commonwealth Shares Scholarship is. Commonwealth gives you everything you need to succeed. If you want to marry, there is still time. From now till July is enough time for you to marry. Okay, it's enough time for you to marry. Carry your wife, carry your husband. If you have kids, carry everything carryable. But like I will always say, you should understand the fact that CSU will not pay for the flight tickets and the visa application fees of your family members. It will only pay all the stuff that you need to do. But for your family, you need to pay for their flight tickets and the rest. Your spouse is permitted to work when she arrives, so your spouse benefits. Your children, your first child is entitled to over £500 monthly, while your second and third child receive, I think, around 100 and is it 27 or 137 or thereabouts monthly. And if you have aged parent that you care for, let's assume that maybe your mom or your dad, you have very aged parents, and these are people that depend on you. I think you could actually come along with trust persons, either as a single. Yeah, you could come along with trust persons, but it always depends on the support that will be provided by both CS and your university. So there's a whole lot of benefits. You should be anticipating this life-transforming opportunity from the Commonwealth Scholarships Commission and your university. So another good part of this scholarship is that this scholarship is funded by both your university and Commonwealth Scholarships Commission through the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office of the UK government. So this is like a life-transforming opportunity you should anticipate. So as a Commonwealth scholar, you are an ambassador of your home country, you're an ambassador of your university, you're an ambassador of the Commonwealth Scholarships Commission. So there's a whole lot of expectation on you. So start building capacity, start developing yourself, start learning how to write critical, start learning how to write. If you don't know how to write, this is the time for you to start learning. That experience is not going to be in vain, whether you have been nominated for the scholarship or not. This is time for you to start taking online, learn how to write essays, okay? Because, so this is in, the UK educational system is quite different from that of many other countries. I have met people who complain from countries, I don't want to mention the names of the countries, like struggling to to get along with the system, because the system here is quite different. So if you are not the type that you have kind of computer literate, you are good enough with computer, this is the time for you to learn digital skills, learn how to be good on the internet, because you're probably going to be doing a lot of things online. You're not going to come here and put yourself in a situation where you'll be asking somebody to submit assessment for you, or be asking somebody how you're probably going to get materials, how you're going to outside. You should now be very conversant with Microsoft tools, getting used to digital technologies as well. Like, this is the time you need to really prepare yourself, okay, so that you're not going to be coming here and be starting life afresh as a novice. You shouldn't find certain things very difficult when you are coming. So it is not enough for you to expect this life transforming opportunity. This is time for you to build capacity for the challenges ahead, because it will be challenging studying here. You have a lot to do. So this is the time you need to really build capacity, learn a lot. I think winners have given a lot of advice to us tonight, and I believe that most of us will make good use of it. So finally, I would like to appreciate winners. I think winners, I just emailed, was it not yesterday I chatted up with you at this session? I think it was yesterday, or was it this morning or yesterday? And despite your very busy schedule, you still made that time to be here. And I want to say that, like, I'm very grateful. Thank you for your support all through this period. We do have some very deep conversations, and honestly, it's been amazing. Like, I look forward to meeting you on the 6th of February, because we haven't met all this while we've been in the UK. So you're a very amazing person, and I honestly, I love you so much, and I sincerely want to appreciate you for coming, always coming through at this very critical time. And I want to also appreciate all our scholars who have attended this session tonight. And I strongly believe that this session was really helpful to you. And for those persons who are unable to make it tonight, or perhaps they lost network connectivity, the recording will be provided on our YouTube channel, Academic Advancement Alliance. You can search for it on YouTube and have access to it, but I will still share the recording with us. So thank you very much for coming, and I sincerely wish you guys the very best in your application. I am strongly believing God and praying for you that you should get selected for this scholarship, so that all your efforts are not in vain. So thank you very much for coming tonight. Thank you, winners. Thank you very much for coming. It's been an amazing time with you all. Like, it's been really amazing. Wish you all the best. So have a good night and enjoy the rest of your new week. And once again, Happy New Year to you all. So you could always check up on our YouTube channel, Academic Advancement Alliance. You know, we started as Global Scholarship Network while we were starting this process, but we are currently being registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission in Nigeria. And probably by next month, we should be launching it formally after the registration with the CAC. And we'll also be calling for volunteers to apply, because we kind of try to make this to be Afrocentric. We want to reach out to many African countries, providing this information and mentorship to young people in Africa, for them to be able to access not just scholarships like this, but also fully funded graduate opportunities as well. So please kindly keep in touch. We'll be providing information and see how we'll continue to be of help to each and every one of us, and others who will be getting in touch subsequently. So thank you once again for coming. Do have the best of the week, and God bless you all. Good night.